For the first time ever, I am thrilled to say we have an official sponsor for the Dirt Talk podcast, and that's Ariat. I've worn Ariat boots on every job site I've visited over the years, traveling in them across 5 continents. More importantly, I have yet to find a single project where working folks, unlike me, are not wearing Ariat boots and workwear in every condition imaginable. And there's really good reason for that. And that's because it's phenomenal stuff. And the more I've learned about Ariat and the company, the more I've loved their brand. So with this, Ariat is offering any Dirt Talk listener 10% off their next Ariat order at ariat.com/dirttalk. That's 10% off boots, jeans, and workwear at ariat.com/dirttalk or at the link in this episode's description. With that, let's get to the show. Well, we haven't done this in a while.
No, been a while.
It's been a few months.
I don't remember when the last one was, but
yeah, I missed when everybody was here last month, unfortunately, because I was in Australia.
That's right.
I was really hoping to make the meeting, the creative meeting, but it just didn't work out. But heard that was quite a good time.
Anytime you get together,
Yeah.
it's just incredible.
Yeah. And hopefully we can do that more and more is the goal.
Yeah.
Towards the end of this year and especially into next year and subsequent years, I think as we start building that more profitable business that just gives us more to invest in the business. And one of those investments is in-person meetings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, all team meeting, BuildWitt. And then, maybe some breakouts or, focus on some different areas.
Yeah.
But
I mean, trust me, I'm the one that's most bummed out when we haven't had team meetings in a while. It sucks. It sucks. I didn't start a business to look at everybody on a computer screen.
Right.
Not fun for me. I mean, it's nice to see everybody, but this is so much better than if we were supposed to do this podcast last week.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, is Jason going to be here in May? Oh, he'll be here next week.
Yeah.
Well, then let's not do it. Let's do it in person. Because why? If I don't have to be on the computer, I'm not going to be on the computer.
Totally.
So, and yeah, I mean, and sometimes a meeting in Nashville, somebody will live in Nashville and it'd be remote. It's like,
yeah,
I'm not doing that. If I don't have to be on the computer, I'm not going to be on the computer.
Yeah. So to all those that are out there listening that work at BuildWitt, thank you.
Yes.
For being remote.
Yeah.
And kicking ass and taking names.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So from an empathy standpoint, it's like, we know what you're doing. We appreciate what you're doing. You're delivering work daily.
I'm just here to complain. That's what I do. But yeah, I as time goes on, in that the feedback that we got 2 months ago now, a little bit ago, we've talked about it as a leadership team for sure. The good news is I don't think any of it is surprising. The even better news is a lot of it's really already being worked on. One thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately, that probably I know needs to be addressed repeatedly. It's not a one and done thing. Is the whole profit thing. I feel like, and it's anonymous. I don't know, which is partially why the way we do it's not very helpful because it provides no context. It's like, okay, cool. There was this anonymous piece of feedback over here. No idea who said it. No idea the context. No idea what part of the business it's in. So it's like, I can kind of acknowledge it, but also can't really do anything about it. It was just something along the lines of our record profit and how we haven't been able to pay people more. And, we have for 7 months now hit our goals, which is really nice.
Invoiced revenue.
Top
line.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we have actually been cash flow positive a majority of this year, I believe, which is awesome. That said, it's like we're hitting our goal. We're doing what we said we would do. Which still puts us in a tight financial place, a much better financial place than we've been in arguably since we started the business. and headed to a really great financial place. But it's still very tight and snug. And so I've talked about this, but I think we're just going to have to keep talking about it. Even for myself, I have to remind myself all the time, hey, we're meeting our goals. We're not anywhere significant. And if we think we're somewhere significant and we start spending that way, we're going to hurt. We're going to really hurt. And so we have to be, whatever we need is what we need. Anything beyond that, now's not the time. And so we have to control it from that side. But no, hopefully we will have some profit this year. That doesn't end up as executive bonuses or shareholder payouts, distributions, or expensive stuff for no reason other than expensive stuff. That all that is one, security. If unforeseen things happen, market changes, whatever it is, we at least have some coverage from a cash standpoint because we can't borrow traditionally from banks. So whatever we have in the bank is essentially what we have. And two, excess cash then becomes the investment we have in our business without having to sell more equity to raise additional capital. And so all that profit is, when I hear profit, all I hear is more money for our people, more people hired, more resources across the board, better marketing, sales strategies to then go increase revenue further, potentially chasing different lines of business or investing, doubling down on a specific part of our business, more meetings, in-person meetings. All that is just investment.
Yeah.
And there will be a payout one day that probably won't materially change the business at all. We have to get our investors a return on investment, but we don't hear anything from our investors. They're not weekly. So what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? They are supportive of our mission. They're supportive of the industry. They know they'll get their return on investment future state. To do that, we have to build a great business.
They're counting on us to solve the problem.
Yeah, which makes them more money
100%.
than their actual investment, our companies. And that's how I sold it.
Correct.
So that, to me, I just want to be very, very clear. Could it profit one day, potentially pay off shareholders, or there's a bunch of stuff you can do with profit future state? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for now and well into the future, all that is just more investment.
Correct.
In our team. That's all it is.
Yeah. We were burning cash. We had to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
We've done that. We've turned it around.
Yep.
We're doing extremely well. The goal this year is build the foundation for growth. And so that's not only, taking care of our people, but it's also investing in systems and processes as well. And we've got some major things that we're working on with Sage and, some of those things to where we can see reporting more real time and understand our business and understand the data and analytics so that we can make smarter, better, faster decisions that really drive the business. And at the end of the day, it's great for everyone. You can't manage what you don't know, and not knowing is not good. And so I'm really excited that we're finally at a point with our P&Ls. We're starting to really start to understand them a little bit better.
Yeah.
Kara and Randy and Diane and the team have been, digging into those and how we're structured and how we're set up and how we're, measuring more than just the top line. Like, first thing was get the top line fixed. We got to make sure that we're bringing the money in. Now it's operational efficiency type stuff as well, and making sure that we're, delivering as productive and efficient as possible so that we can get that bottom line rolling, and having the right systems and processes in place this year is huge.
Yeah. And part of that foundation is cash in the bank.
100%.
Cash.
Yeah.
Cash.
Cash flow is king.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I don't live above somebody's garage by accident.
Yeah.
That's a deliberate decision, because
That's right.
The more cash we have in the business, the better the business does long term. And I'm here for the long haul. You're here for the long haul.
Yeah.
I think most everybody's here for the long haul.
100%.
And I think it's in everybody's best interest too. So that's been on my mind a lot, and I wanted to address it at some point. I meant to address it in one of my weekly videos, but here we are on the podcast, needing something to talk about. And I know that's what Randy would want to talk about too. So yeah, sorry if it sounds like I'm gonna beat a dead horse, but revenue's one thing, but we need to control expenses. And if we spend an extra $1,000 here, we've got to go then earn an extra $1,000. It's.
And I foresee, Randy's really transparent, and he's got a huge caring heart, and I think that I was just talking to him. We just went over the P&Ls before we jumped on the call.
He sent us the latest.
And he was just kind of explaining it to me. I was asking some questions, and I totally anticipate him sharing that with the company and maybe doing it in all hands, or kind of where we're at and what's going on. It's not like it's in some secret box and we're hiding it. Like, we're fully transparent, happy to talk through this. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to reach out. We're happy to talk through, anything. It's great that you provide stuff in the feedback and the surveys and whatnot. But if you've got, some angst or some heartburn or some concern or questions, we're all here, available, ready to talk at any point in time.
Yeah. And some people exercise that, and I really appreciate it. A lot of people don't.
Right.
And it's like, man, if I was at a company, I'd be taking advantage of that, because I don't think there's a single question somebody could ask me right now that I would give them an honest answer to. Like, yeah, you want to know XYZ? Cool. XYZ.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't a trick. We're not trying to say we're transparency, core value, love transparency. But then at the same time, let's not talk about our finances. That's not how we operate. We want everyone to understand how they drive the business, how they push the mission forward, how they help us get more and more profitable, because everybody wins as a result. And so, yeah, I've always just shared all that information as it's the right thing to do, and it's just good business to, I think, share our information with
It's
people.
not normal though, because I came from an organization that did not share. It was like you had to be a certain level, and then you only got certain access, and it was all locked down, and you're not allowed to talk about things publicly, and there's certain numbers you can share, like number of pieces of equipment or number of people that work for you, because people can kind of start to do the math to think through how big you are, but it's not a dollar amount that they want out. And heaven forbid, if you broke it down by division or department, it's like, whoa, that's too much information.
Well, we were doing a website years ago now for a company, pretty big company, and we wanted to put some fun facts on their website, and one of them was how many skid steers they had. Ton of skid steers. Yeah. Shitload of skid steers. And the owner of the company saw that. He's like, no, we can't be putting how many machines we have on the site. It's like, it's skid steers, one, but that's the mentality. We cannot be talking about this. But then you go to other, like, it's amazing seeing some of these Australian company websites. You go to, they have a fleet page, and you go to fleet. Here's all of the machines in our entire fleet. It's like, wow, this is awesome. This is so helpful. But you would never see that in a lot of places here. No. Not a chance.
It's that protect and defend mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get why, because I think there's a lot of education necessary in sharing dollars and cents, because a company and dollars in a business, it works on different principles than dollars in a household. And then everybody grew up in different ways. And it's interesting. It's just so interesting how much emotion there is around money. Like, it's something so simple and so black and white, and yet completely irrational. The whole thing, everything about it is irrational. And so I've realized, if you share the information, and that's why I think transparency is hard, because it requires a lot of education, not because people are dumb. It's just because people have never been in that environment before. They've never had that information. And if you just, here's our finances. Yep, we're running a loss this month. If I'm running a loss at home, I don't have a house. What? But it's like, no. That business works on different principles, and then even our business works on much different principles than a giant materials company.
Of course. Exactly.
So
totally.
That's been around for decades.
Well, I mean, the scoreboard changes mindset too. I mean, think about any sport. When you're behind, man, you're kind of down. Like, you start to lose hope, you lose belief, there's a lot of things, right? So it takes special leadership, coaching. It takes special players on the team that when you're kind of down to see a better vision of hey, we're going to come back. We're going to win this, over time. And so it's interesting on, from a scoreboard standpoint of what you share, because you got to keep everybody positive and productive and moving in the right direction. And that can be difficult with transparency. But also when you start winning, man, that could be a lot of fun because now you're winning and you got this positive momentum and you're excited. It's just, it plays on people's emotions, the scoreboard. And so there's a fine line there of what you share and what you don't share.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I can work with you and against you. Like, I think a lot of the financial information people see within our company is the deal wins channel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anytime a deal comes in,
they don't see payroll.
No, there's not a payroll channel, let me tell you. But it's a lot of money. I shared a picture yesterday on Instagram of 4 checks that I'd received in the mail one time.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that didn't read it, I had a PO box. I moved in with my parents when I started the company, and lived with no rent for roughly the first year. But you can't be sending, you need an address to have a business is one of the big things. You need an address. And so I needed a post office box. So I get a post office box, 45478 at it's like 16th Street, 20th Street, Camelback Post Office in Phoenix, Arizona. And I would drive down there multiple times a week because that's how we would get paid. There wasn't direct deposit. It was companies would send checks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would walk to the bank next door and deposit those. And on the big days, I'd line the checks up. And I think it was like, I don't know, the ones I posted,
like
add them all together, $8 grand, $9 grand. I did the math in my head of like, what we're spending a day right now.
A little different.
It's just like $8 grand.
Yeah.
That doesn't get us anything now.
Yeah.
And I didn't say that on the post because I don't want to be that guy.
Of course. I like Granite Rock's comment. I remember those days.
Yeah. And calling people, hey, did you send out the check yet? Or, oh no, we forgot about it. It's like, and on the phone, oh yeah, no, not a big deal. And then under my breath swearing, like, what the fuck do you mean you forgot? Like, I need
truck payment.
I need $5 grand, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And now things are a lot different. But yeah, we bringing in a lot of money, but no one here works for free.
No
one.
That's right.
Except not even the dogs work for free. They're out there.
Yeah, they're expensive too.
Begging in the kitchen, eating all the damn treats. So no one works for free around here. Yeah. And if anybody wants to, give me a call. I am more than happy to sign you up for community service.
Totally.
So yeah, that's just not exciting stuff, but it is exciting stuff. I think I've come to just love the money. Like the money, it's such a source of stress, but that's what enables us to go change the industry.
Yeah.
And carry the industry to where we think it could go.
Yeah.
We don't do it for free. We need money to do it.
Well, and I mean, like we have people that want to win here, and it's like they want to help us win, and so they showing the scoreboard, showing what's going on, how they can help. Everything that they're doing is what's allowing us to do what we're doing. It's, without the people, we're nothing. Like it's all vision, it's all theory, it's all great, but the execution of software and building and production and creating content and the creative work and it takes everyone in this company doing what they're doing in order for us to be successful.
Yeah, and it takes a ton of hard work, a ton of money, but we're on the way.
Yeah,
we're on the way.
Yeah.
I guess looking ahead, we've got Knife River next month, which I'm very excited about.
Stoked.
It's going to sell out, I think.
Yeah.
We've got 13 left, over a week to go. And so I think a few more, I think we'll get to 150, honestly.
Yeah. And that doesn't include, there's
all the people.
Knife River, BuildWitt. It's got a ton more
there's
people.
Some sponsors involved too.
Some sponsors are coming, so
it'll be so safely over 200 people.
Yeah.
At this event,
right?
Which is that's a lot of people.
State of the art.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. I was talking to Dan about it too. It's just funny. Business is just funny. I I love like points of reference to then gauge where we are as a business. So like the other day we were in the Empire Caterpillar conference room.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I have a notebook with it written down from college, but it must have been 2014 when I met with Jeff Whiteman, dealer principal of Empire, in that exact conference room.
Wow.
I sat where Dan was sitting.
Yeah.
And he sat where I was sitting.
Got it.
And it's just cool to, 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
2024, 2014, and think about how similar things are, but how different things are.
Yeah.
And so I went to Caterpillar's Edwards facility a few years ago when they still allowed me in the place. And they said, you got to check out, have you been to Knife River? I said, no, I don't even know what that is. You need to check this place out. So I started doing some research in it, and then they connected me to Dan Abbott over there.
Yeah.
And I messaged him about it, trying to get into the place. I just wanted to see the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a few years ago. Like, man, this would be just a cool place to see.
Yeah.
And now fast forward to, we've built a great relationship with Dan, with Chris, with the whole training team there. We had them at the summit last year. They taught a class. They loved it. As far as I saw, everybody loved hearing them. And then we put this event together. So now not only do I get to see it, but I get to invite a bunch of people like, hey, come see this place because this is crazy. And it's just so cool to be in that position to have that opportunity.
That's right. Yeah. And it's, one, thanks for slinging tickets.
Yeah.
You've been
I'm just, hey, I'm covering over here while they're moving over there. I get it. Everybody's busy.
But that's what it takes, right?
Yeah.
Teamwork. And I think that's been kind of the theme this year is like, no pride and title. We're all one team. We're just figuring out what do we got to do today to win the day? What do we got to do this week to win the week? How do we win the month? And so, just super appreciate everyone in the organization who's been chipping in and helping us when it comes to that kind of stuff. But one thing I didn't realize was like Knife River Training Center is a completely separate business than Knife River.
Yes.
It was built by and funded by Knife River for their purposes of internal training, but they have their own goals and objectives. And so one of the things that we're doing for Chris, for Dan, for Knife River Training Center is we're shining a light in Albany, Oregon, on one of the best training centers in the entire country, which is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they rent out their facility to dirt world contractors that want to come there and train and do an event or host things or whatnot. So it's kind of exciting to see how, we're going to go there. We're going to have this workshop. We're bringing people. We're going to have this incredible event. But I'm hopeful that the world is watching and that more and more people are going to come. For example, 2 weeks ago, I talked to Chris on the phone. She said, you're never going to believe this. She's like, CRH called. They've been following along everything that's going on. And that, they've been seeing all the social posts. And they're like, what's going on there? And so they flew in private jet, come spend the day, visited Knife River.
I forgot you said that.
And now they're wanting to do some training at their center. And it's like,
crazy.
And they're thinking about, what does CRH's training center look like? And it's like, whoa, if this could be like a domino that could start to really think through the future of training centers, that's kind of cool.
It's super cool. And what's really, 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 really cool is that they're so open to having sometimes direct competitors there.
100%.
Which I think is the future. I think collaboration, coming together as an industry is already becoming the gold standard, but will for sure be the gold standard. And I think it's also, I think they're just being a good example for others and saying, hey, not only have we invested in this as a business, because we can, we have it's a big company, publicly traded. We have a lot of resources, so I get it, but we're being open about it. We're not just saying, oh, cool, here's our fancy facility. It's just for us. Huge competitive advantage. It is a competitive advantage, but they also understand that they're a materials company. They work with a lot of other contractors. They don't just do all the work themselves. So if they can get more people, if they can help more people out, the better off they are too. And I think that in itself, just a company being that open-minded publicly like this, I think is a really, really, really good example for others.
No, I completely agree. And, it's exciting for them to see what we're doing and say, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So like just as excited as we are to go see them,
Yeah.
they're just as excited to be working with what we're doing because they see us as kind of innovating with, the micro learning and all the stuff that we're doing. And it's like, there is no silver bullet. It's a combination of things that have to happen. And so it's just neat to see that a large organization like that with a training center sees value in what we're doing.
Yeah, because we complement what they're doing.
100%.
And we just want to make what they're doing even better.
Yeah.
And that's, we have a company in the industry right now thinking we're a competition for what we're doing, which is, it's like the silliest thing in the world. I think we chuckle every time we even think about it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? But that is the traditional mindset, whereas our mindset is genuinely like, we're just trying to help out. I forget who it was. Man, I forget who I was talking to the other day, but they even said like, we kind of thought you guys were full of shit for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met with like Dan or Jason.
Yeah.
And we started to realize like, and maybe this was our conversation.
With Alex Judd at Path for Growth.
Maybe that was it, or maybe it's something else.
We were talking about an abundance mindset, and I had spent the day with him.
That's the conversation. Yeah.
And he was like, hey, just to let you know, like this is after spending a full day. I'd had breakfast, went to church, went and did a 6-mile hike in Arizona with him. And we're sitting at the end of the day having some sourdough bread around the table. And he said, I thought this abundance mindset thing was a bunch of shit. He's like, I thought it was just fluff. I thought you guys were all just like using it to trick the industry type thing into positioning yourself. And after spending the day with you, I realized it's actually real. I'm like, yeah, we truly care about our mission. We can't do this alone. We're going to surround ourselves with incredible people and organizations for the greater good. And we're moving this. You're either going to go with us or not.
Yeah.
And so we'd love to have you on board and supporting.
Yeah. And sure, can I be a prick sometimes? Absolutely. But thankfully, we have people like you to balance it all out.
Good cop, bad cop.
No, I've learned. It's just, I don't know. It's human nature. You just want to go make up these boogeymen out there so that you can beat them, you can show them, but it just doesn't. It's just not good business in the long term, I feel like.
Well, and I mean, I'll be perfectly straight with you. I mean, there are times where I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
And at times
100%.
I like dig in and I'm like, whoa, slow down there, Jay. Like just realize like abundance mindset.
Yes.
Stay focused on the mission.
Yes.
And your natural, it comes out. And when you're a competitive person, it naturally comes out.
Yeah.
So I get that. So I even have to fight myself at times and make sure that we're doing everything that we're doing for the right reasons.
Yeah. And I have also, if somebody's like an asshole to you, you kind of want to be an asshole back. But I've also done the mental gymnastics in my head. And you kind of competition. How do I beat this person who's an asshole? How do I beat them?
Yeah.
I'm just going to be really, really nice. And I'm just going to keep helping them.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to, and so so they like maybe they're still an asshole, but I won at the end of the day.
That's right.
I controlled the situation here.
Yeah.
I'm dictating what's going on here.
Right.
And that's
one of our core values is be the example.
Yeah.
And so, as we're focusing on how we're going to lead an industry, like if we're going to take that responsibility on, then we've got to lead by example. And so our actions speak louder than our words, but also our words matter. And so how we act and what we say is something we have to be really mindful of.
And that's also, I'm trying to be more deliberate about what I say. See, there's like I think especially a few years ago, I thought the best thing I can do is just say whatever is in my head, because then I'm being authentic.
Right.
I'm being transparent.
In the spirit of authenticity.
Yeah. It's like, what's the problem? I'm being authentic. I'm just being me.
Yeah.
But then you, after you say enough dumb stuff, you start to realize, well, you can still be authentic, but in a more tactful manner. Like you don't have to poke everybody in the eye with a sharp stick
Right.
while you do it. And like even the podcast, I forget people listen to it, frankly, and I forget who listens to it. But a lot of times I'll have like some significant executive come up and say, "Hey, I like the podcast." Like, damn, I had no idea somebody like that listened to this. And why do they listen to it? But it is amazing how many people are watching right now.
Well, I sit at home and watch it. I mean, like I watched you and Chad Abernathy have an incredible conversation. And even you as my leader and somebody that I talk to on a regular basis, I'm picking up on incredible things about family business and leadership and intentionality and the repetitive nature of, what has to happen and kind of the what and the why. So whether it's people externally or people internally, people are always paying attention.
Yeah.
And the podcast is definitely reaching a large number of people.
Yeah. And the right people.
Yeah.
The right people I've found, which is pretty cool too. Going to Abernathy, I just wanted to shout out Lee and Garrett for being a friend. They went to the grand opening.
That's right.
That new office they just opened up, which looks legit.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see it. But that was cool for them to go out there and celebrate Abernathy.
No, I thought that was great. Yeah, Lee had a really cool little story that she put together. But I'll never forget the video by the campfire. I just think that's like super cool video. Yeah,
it's cool. It's just cool to be involved in these companies. I mean, I was half responding to a DM out there before we came in here on LinkedIn. Need to finish it after this. But company president, hey, we just signed up for BuildWitt training. We're really excited to use this to fulfill these apprenticeship requirements. And we just can't wait to be working with you guys. Hopefully I'm able to meet with you soon. It's like, to be invited in on something like a training program, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to be alongside these companies in various ways. And I know storytelling is pretty intimate, but training is a big deal.
Yeah.
Even companies sending people to the summit, that's pretty significant. I mean, it's a big investment. And two, like I didn't even think about this, but when we met with Ames, for example, they were like, hey, we wanted to suss it out the first year because we're really deliberate with what messaging we want our people to hear. And we want to make sure it's worthy of not from a controlling standpoint, but worthy of our culture and our people and the future of our business.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure it was legit. And it's like, damn, so anybody coming, it's like, that's a huge leap of faith.
Yeah. I had reached out, obviously we're all reaching out to people, trying to get them to come to our events.
Bothering everybody.
Please buy tickets. I got into an interesting conversation though about, the response was, hey man, this looks incredible. I'm just not going to be able to make it. My schedule's not going to work out. And I said, could I be frank with you for a second? And he was like, of course. I said, how many people work at your company? He's like, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
400, 500. And I said, the invite is for your company.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can remember a decade ago, I got invited to go to an event that I probably had no business being at. However, it made me feel special, important, seen. Like I got to go and have an experience that made me, feel good. And I was surrounded by these leaders and I got to learn and grow. And then I was able to come back and I had something to talk about that was way beyond what my normal day-to-day was. And it put me on, from a career pathing and leadership path type standpoint, it was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
And I said, who within your company are up and coming rising stars that should be going to this event? And let's make sure that we're not just thinking about you. It's an invite for your company. It's an invite for there's somebody in your company that could really benefit from this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not snake oil. We're not just trying to get people's money. It's like
it's JP Donnell and the top leaders across the dirt world that are coming and talking about.
Yeah. When we did it last year, we have 700 people you can talk to.
Right.
Ask any of the 700.
Exactly.
I don't think they would say, well, it didn't get my money's worth. What a waste of time.
Right.
And if they did, they were like, I don't know, drunk and passed out in the room the whole time. They didn't even show up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool last year. I remember Barnard had signed up 2 people, big contractor.
Right.
Like senior leaders, but then something scheduling wise happened. So they sent 2 young engineers and you could tell these kids, they were just smitten.
Yeah.
They were stoked to be there.
Right.
and
Totally.
that to them is like, man, I was, chosen to be at this event. This is a big responsibility, big opportunity. I'm going to soak this up. I'm going to bring it back. This is elevating me, man. My company really, really invests in me. Independence was the same thing. 2 younger guys came from Independence, and they were just happy to be there. Like, man, this is just awesome to be a part of. And so, I get a little discouraged or frustrated every time somebody's like, I can't make it. Like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you can't make it.
But it also excites me because I think that you get it and we get it. And if we can start to share that message across the entire dirt world and kind of reframe how executive leadership is looking at this, it starts to really have an impact on the people of the dirt world.
Yeah. Well, and we, I think a big priority for this year, it still depends on finances.
Sure.
But, hopefully we can get a large portion, if not our team at the event.
Be incredible. 1,
just to get together.
Mm-hmm.
But 2, just to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is really good shit.
Yeah.
This is really, really good training. Like, man, there's something for everybody here. Whether you're a contractor, you're creative, anybody can benefit here.
Yeah.
And I want as many people from our team there as possible.
Right.
Because it just,
it's
an investment in our people, our team, our company.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was thinking at First Form the whole time. It's like, damn it. I just
wish more people could have seen it.
I wish more people could have seen it. And it's really hard because yes, it's very, very expensive to send people to these events. And like we were saying, we're really trying to control costs here.
Right.
We're really trying to stick to budgets here. But we're getting some more people to Knife River, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And I hope we can get a significant crowd to the November event.
And one thing I've had in mind too, I've had some conversations with some smaller companies and they're like, man, it's an expensive ticket.
It is.
And I'm like, I get it. But from a vision standpoint, I said, hey, maybe you were building it backwards, but we're building it in the best way that we know how to build a business and really, go after this. But the goal is to have an offering for everyone. So we've got, the summit, we've got the workshops, we've got BuildWitt Connect, which is coming, and it's a much more affordable online place that people can go to learn and grow. And we have BuildWitt training, which you can do for your organization. And maybe one of these days we get to a point where we sell out the summit. And then now maybe we're doing, like simulcast or, like selling, tickets where people can watch it from where they are. So who knows where this thing goes, but we're trying to create education and training and have it in multiple different mediums, whether it's, online, in a private community, in person, and having something for a little bit of everyone.
Well, but even like our YouTube videos.
100%.
We don't charge our podcast.
That's right.
We don't charge. There's so much value out there.
Correct.
And so that's what I tell people. It's like, if you're looking to learn about this world, I would start digging through the podcast, for example, just the opportunity that is listening to a Chad Abernathy, for example, talk about his business in a just very holistic, authentic way. That's hard to beat from a value standpoint.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
It didn't exist 20 years ago when I was coming up through the ranks. I wish I would have done anything to have been able to listen to this.
Yeah, it's just amazing how much information's out there. But at the same time, there's all these people reaching out. Oh, we want to work with you, this and that. And I still have to tell people, hey, we're a small business.
Mm-hmm.
I know it looks like we're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're reaching a lot of people. Yeah, lots of online stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're a small business.
Yeah.
Like anybody else.
Yeah.
And so, and we have to focus or else we die. And so I would love to do this or that or help you or do this, whatever, but we can't also do everything. And we don't want to because we wouldn't survive.
Yeah. Saying no has been a little challenging for me lately. I'm doing a lot of business development and I'm talking to a lot of people and
you talk to a lot of people.
And one of the things that's interesting right now is, even like with speakers and people who are kind of serving the industry, they're now starting to see our stage
Yep.
as a huge opportunity.
Which it is.
It is.
Yeah.
But like, and so it's like, well, we've got a vetting process. There's a team. We've got to run it through. And so I'm like, on the phone or whatever, talking to these people. And I'm like, well, there's a whole process, and I let me grab your information and we'll think through it. But it's like we've got to really be mindful to the Ames conversation that you were having earlier of we are a trusted source now.
Yep.
People in the industry are turning to Aaron Witt, BuildWitt, the team, and saying, we're listening.
Mm-hmm.
And so who we put on stage in our training videos, on our YouTube channel, on, the Dirt World Summit, like we have to vet and make sure that they're great people that are saying great things.
Yeah.
So we have a responsibility there.
Yeah. Dan hasn't done it yet, but he had the Summit Talk submission idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up working too well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 50 or whatever, just great submissions for 10 places.
Yeah.
So
there's over 80.
Yeah. Well,
over 80.
Yeah. But yeah.
And then they whittled it down.
Even when you whittle it down, it's like, how the hell are you going to choose 10?
And you got to get to one.
Yeah. And then one. And so he's going to have to be the one to turn all these great people down. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a personal thing, or sometimes it's not even about the idea. It's like, well, this is, the direction we want to take it in, it doesn't fit it or whatever. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very positive.
Yeah.
But, it is cool seeing that was something that I was like, oh, maybe it'll work. But those submissions started to come in. It's like,
yeah.
Whoa, this is serious. These people
we
are
had
taking
people
it really
reaching
serious.
out, like soft pitching. Hey, here's my idea. What do you think? You think it would get me through?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
They're like, well, who's making all the decisions in there? I'm like, well, there's a whole group or a committee, trying to make sure that it's fascinating to kind of see though, like people want to be on the stage. They want to be a part of this, what we're doing. And so, which is exciting. I am glad that the final 10 who present at Dirt World, that there's a vote. So it's not BuildWitt that's deciding. So we can kind of be like, well, they voted.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Our hands are clean.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting. I just, the events are tough because it's just so much work. But then you get to the event and the during
Incredible.
is just like, oh. This makes it all worth it. Like, I wish we could have a summit every week because it is just something else.
This industry still loves to be together in person.
Yeah.
And from building relationships, building trust, being able to have just a genuine conversation, from a sales standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, I love it. The events are incredible. They're adding tremendous value to the Dirt World, but we're also building relationships with all these prospects and these people that, hopefully see value in our overall ecosystem and what we have to offer. Mm-hmm. Because as you think about the problems that we're solving, I think about this all the time. Like our team, we don't try to sell. We really try to serve and we try to solve problems. And so it's through great questions that we're asking and discovery calls with clients. It's like, all right, what's your biggest challenge? What are you trying to overcome? And have you thought about this? And would you like to learn more about this? And, there's this whole emotional side and then the logical side. And with what we're doing, we're really hitting home on the emotional side. It's like, oh man, this is exactly what we want, what we need. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But then it's like, then they've got to go through the logical side of making it make sense. And then they start thinking about rollout and implementation and all of that stuff. So.
And that's where, I would say we're most focused right now is, hey, what do we need to do to make a great product this year and a great implementation process, support process, make it just a great experience all the way around so that when that renewal does come around, there's no conversation.
There's no question.
Yeah. And we have the ability to do that over this next year. And I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Randy and the entire team is just, to see what Dane and Flo and Ramon and just the entire group and Ben Dongera and the group with content and just the magic that's kind of coming out of that team right now with training content. I've never been more excited. I'm probably just as excited for the summit for 4.0 as I am for anything.
I agree.
I mean, it's just like, I can't wait to show everyone.
Well, and to think, I mean, with what we've done so far, well over 1 million lessons completed.
It's incredible.
Over 1 million lessons completed.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's so cool.
I mean, wow. That is
and probably in 2 years' time. It's May.
Yeah.
2 years' time, over 1 million lessons.
Yeah, and we're still in like the
early stages of development.
Yeah. The like kiddie pool. But we're starting to, like, the floaties are coming off.
Yeah.
And we're here to compete now.
Yeah.
And I think, going into next year, we'll have a real software product that will solve many problems and will be a must-have, not a nice-to-have.
I was talking with Randy. I was like, so are we calling it an LMS? And he's like, well, tell me more. I'm like, well, a lot of people ask, is it an LMS? And I'm like, and Randy says to me, he's like, no, it kind of still references training product. But he said, here's a question that you might ask them, like, what functions and features are you looking for?
Yes.
And then you can answer, yeah, we have that. Yeah, we have that. Yeah, we have that. And he's like, our roadmap of what we have and where we're going, by most qualifications, you could probably call it that. But for the dirt world and for what we're doing, like, it's a training software platform.
And that's why I wince a little bit when some company says we just bought a new LMS. It's like, oh no.
They have no idea what they're doing.
Because you don't need that. They don't need that. And I say that not because I'm arrogant, but because I've talked with a lot of companies that have already bought it, tried to do it, way too complicated, doesn't stick, and then they're sitting there frustrated. Like, damn it, what did we just do?
Well, and the thing that they don't realize is how hard it is to create content. And so they're all excited. They've got this project. They work on it for, a year. Everything takes a year plus type thing. Yeah. They develop the first 25 videos and an onboarding, and they're so excited and they check the box, and then it just sits there. Mm-hmm. And there's no continuation. It's just a waste. And so, what problem are we solving with BuildWitt training? Whether it's content, whether it's documentation, whatever that is, it's just such a better opportunity.
Yeah, and we are hungry hippos, and we are on our way to making a phenomenal platform.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Well, that's what I got today. I really have to pee. I chugged this whole electrolyte drink before we started.
I love it.
So I can't focus anymore, but glad we had this chat.
Till next time.
Yeah, maybe this will be internal and external. Probably external too.
Okay.
I've been trying to talk more about the business externally and lessons learned and what we're doing. And I think now's the time to start talking about it a little bit more.
Sure.
So I've been trying to get it out there.
Yeah, that's good. I'll just be honest. We recorded an internal podcast one time and I'm at home and I went, oh, that's now an external podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Harrison. I asked Harrison. It was like, I just told him, I was like, listen through it.
Nah, it's all good.
Got back to me. He's like, I don't know. There's nothing in there.
No,
like,
it's fine.
Yeah, I would publish most everything we do.
Yeah. Got nothing to hide.
No. So everybody, thanks for listening. If you have feedback for us, let us know.
Yeah.
Me, Jason, Harrison. We appreciate you all listening, and if all goes well, we'll see you next month.